All right, we are now live. So thank you guys for hanging in there with us. This is our Backflip Happy Hour. I'm Ryan Fring, Creative Director here at Backflip. And joining me as always, let's see where John is. He's over there, is John, our other Creative Director. He's also taking a look at your comments, so please do post. No, it's totally Vogue. You can look around. It's like the Brady Bunch right now
It is kind of like the
on
Brady Bunch.
screen.
Very much
So
so.
it's
I was looking for John. I found him.
I did too. He
yeah.
wasn't over this way. He was this way from me.
That's smart. There you go. You
Yeah.
know how this game works. So today we've got Dancing Goat guys joining us. We've got Nick Moss and Bo Bunce. Guys, welcome to this happy hour.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's
Yeah.
have some fun and bring some excitement to all your viewers.
Yeah, what are you guys drinking before we get into anything else?
These are limousine rye Manhattans with no fruit except for a cherry because we've been shut down for weeks and we don't have any fresh citrus on site.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got the job done though.
Yeah,
Cocktailed by Brady.
citrus brightens up drinks, and so it's missing something, but I added a little bit more cherry juice in there, which is, an at-home trick you can do. So,
Nice. Yeah, and you will see over here we've got some of these product. I've got a bunch at the office, but I drank the one that I had here, so I had to go pick some up. And I noticed that this has the Wine Enthusiast Top 100 Spirits on it. Look at that.
top 100
Look at
spirits
that.
in the world.
Yeah, that's freaking amazing. It does say in the world.
In the
That's
world.
amazing.
Nice
Yeah,
work, Nick. That's a very impressive accolade there for the limousine rye.
We're very proud of that accolade. We worked really hard on limo, and we were pretty surprised to make that list. But when we did, we celebrated. Let me tell you, we celebrated with one of the 100 best spirits in the world.
That's awesome. So, guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Dancing Goat.
Yeah, I'll start. My name's Bo. I'm the marketing director at the Distillery. I was hired on to help execute all of our strategic objectives for the distillery itself and our house of brands, so to speak, which include Limousine Rye Whiskey, which is our first inaugural spirit that we released a few years ago, as well as Death Door Gin, Wonderment, Hossie Pie Liqueurs, to name a few.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm Nick Moss. I'm the VP Distillation and Innovation. So I work with our master distiller and our team of distillers to basically hit targets, develop new products. We have a group. We have a team of four. Or there's two distillers here, and there's two distillers assistants. One of them's about to become a distiller, full fledged. One of them's gonna be an assistant for a while. But we work in rotations, so we're not always here at the same time. And so I kind of lead that team. My master distiller is kind of our captain of the distillers. He isn't here right now, unfortunately. He's at home. But so I work with them. I work mostly in the lab, and then I do a lot of the market work as well too.
Nice. And I noticed you're wearing a mask. And it looks like you're actually at the distillery. How's life been for the last 2 months, man?
Oh, it's been interesting. We've been making hand sanitizer like crazy. We're sending it all over the state, which is pretty cool. But we have a little program going on where any business can contact us or individual can contact us. And if you have a compelling case or a story, we will donate to you if you are unable to purchase. Or we're selling buckets. We recommend a donation of $150 a bucket. It's 5 gallons. And so that's below market price per ounce. And then every sale we make, it perpetuates a donation to first responders for free. And so we go every week this week I have City of Elkhorn's coming for 25 gallons, City of Madison's coming, City of Monona's coming. So we're getting a lot of, like I said, any first responder. So if you're a first responder, contact us. We can help you out. And it's free for these people, which is great because it keeps them exactly where they need to be, which is responding to fires and the medical emergencies and all that jazz.
Yeah, that's awesome. How quickly were you able to do that? And when maybe March 15th we started hearing very strict things were coming down the pipeline, and then I think March 22nd or 26th or something like that, when we had our statewide lockdown. Like what happened to you guys? Like, what did you guys? How'd you react? Like, what's it been like?
Yeah, well, so Nick was very responsible, from the start of all this. So we officially decommissioned equipment. We stopped operations on March 17th due to the COVID outbreak within the United States and here locally within the state. And then, Nick, we were looking into hand sanitizer, which is actually regulated by the FDA. And I think it was that weekend Nick kind of kicked it into gear and figured out what he needed to do, and if we were going to be capable of producing and processing hand sanitizer.
Yeah, it's pretty easy just based off of what we do on a daily basis. I mean, it's the same as if it's the same as if a customer came to us to make a flavored vodka for him. We're taking ethanol, we're diluting it, and we're adding 2 more ingredients to it. That's really it. I wish it was more complicated so we could sound like true heroes, but really it's the same thing we're always doing.
Nick, can you describe that a little bit to me? What the difference between distilling alcohol and then actually making hand sanitizer? Like, is that close? Because it seems like not everyone can do that, but you guys certainly can.
Yeah, so that's a great question. It brings up a really interesting facet of our industry, and that's that. There's we have what's called the DSP, which is the distilled spirits permit. And that allows us, and the type of DSP that we have allows us to distill ethanol for beverages and also to process ethanol for beverages. And then we also have a license where we can process denatured alcohol. So most distilleries are either going to have the first two. They're going to have either distilling alcohol or processing alcohol, or the two of them combined together. And so, making hand sanitizer itself is just a process. The alcohol is already made, but we do actually make alcohol here. And so at a lot of these smaller distilleries, what they're doing is they're buying alcohol from a distillery like us, a bigger one that can make it for, economically. And because, the fact of the matter is if someone's running a 50-gallon still, it's going to cost them way too much money and energy to make 1,000 gallons of hand sanitizer. Their money is a lot better spent coming to someone like us and saying, hey, here's, $2,000, give me $2,000 worth of alcohol. And now I'm going to take it back to my place and blend it up myself. And so, usually we're a full-fledged distillery here. We actually manufacture all of the alcohol that's here. A lot of other places buy it as a commodity. As of right now, the biggest switch for us was setting up commodity purchases in the size that we needed to make for the demand that we had. Because like I said, usually we're only making here, but we cook all organic grains. And so that in and of itself is a very expensive input. And so our money went a lot further purchasing commodity alcohol, just industrial alcohol, and then turning that into something that can be used as hand sanitizer. But really, it's just the process of mixing things together. And so the hardest thing about it for us was the actual ingredient handling itself. So the ingredients, it's super simple. And actually, you guys can everyone can make this at home for themselves. So if this is actually a pretty interesting thing for people listening, if you look up the WHO hand sanitizer recipe, that's what we're making. And it's really simple. It's pure ethanol, which we produce here. And I have a funny story about how we're producing it after this. And then have you heard it yet? It's a really funny story.
No, but I can't wait.
Great. And then water is the second largest ingredient that we have. So we're going to do is, and then hydrogen peroxide, 3% concentration, and this stuff called glycerin or glycerol, which is basically, this is going to be a weird analogy, but if you're a vapor, it's the juice from your vape. It's the same stuff. And so what that is, it's actually vegetable glycerin, which we use as an emollient. It hydrates hands. But in a vape, it's how it creates the water vapor that you're inhaling. Isn't that crazy? And so what we found out was that, one, hydrogen peroxide is dangerous, so you have to handle it with care. But two, the densities of these fluids are really different than what we usually use. And so what we had to do is, what we figured out is there's a very specific step for us to make it, because our tanks are so big that you won't have this problem at home if you're using like a glass or a bucket or a jar or something. But we couldn't get it to mix evenly until we figured out what we had to do is we put the alcohol in first, and then we put the water in, and then we put the hydrogen peroxide in. And then when it's on high, we put the glycerin in. Because if you don't do it in that exact order, we ended up with a chunk in the bottom. We call it a chunk, but it's really a slug. And it's a section of unmixed material based off of density. So that was the hardest part, was just material handling. But we, like I said, that's all we do here is move fluids. And so the real reason that we're allowed to make it and no one else is because we have the permits to buy the alcohol, and because we are trained and the state knows that we know how to proof and gauge alcohol.
Yeah, and how's that? I'm going to check my mic real quick too. How's that trial and error go in the beginning? It sounds like, if it doesn't mix correctly and you've got, whatever you call it, chunks or, whatnot, you can't use that. How quickly were you able to figure it out and get that fixed?
Yeah, so we were given a very specific set of specifications by the government that we have to hit to put it in a package. But the funny thing about that is the specs are a lot more lenient than what we receive for a bottle of consumer alcohol. So in a bottle of consumer alcohol, we have to be within 1/10 of a percentage of the concentration of the volume, or we're going to be, in serious fault. There are going to be fines coming to us. For this, they're allowing a plus or minus 5% from 80, so it can go anywhere from 75 to 85 proof. That shouldn't make you feel comfortable. You should be saying that's a big variance. Why is that okay? And the reason that that's okay is because they've set it at a point where even if it goes to 75% alcohol, it's still effective as a sanitizer. And so for the places that don't have as advanced of equipment or aren't as good at gauging spirits as, I don't mean to be kissing my own butt, but as we are here, it allows them to have a little more variance. But we've been coming out with product that hit 80.15% concentration on the money every time.
Nice. Ryan is informing me he's troubleshooting some audio. That's what all these live stream things are like. Being in the media, we've tried to take our stuff online versus, still working in the. I mean, everybody's like doing things differently, obviously. And you guys have gone to hand sanitizer, and we've gone to Facebook live stream stuff. So.
John, are you guys able to work from your office, or are you home office?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to follow the guidelines as best we can. Being media, there's some gray area that allows us to work because we, in theory, are getting messages out to people and things, but we're also not filming government press conferences and things like that. So, but on the other hand, we also have clients who are essential businesses
right.
Food and beverage industry and stuff. So I guess we've kind of been working in no man's land, gray area, but we've all been working from home because we can just set ourselves up on our computers. And a lot of what we've been doing recently is digital marketing, website work, and then the editors can edit video from home. They just took computers home, took hard drives home, things like that. So
yeah, you guys have been editing some videos for us that we'll be publishing on some of our channels in the near future. Yeah. Any of your projects been postponed, canceled?
Thankfully, right now, things have just been postponed. There's one client that decided to kind of table their marketing or new marketing efforts for the year, which, it's debatable. We let people make their own decisions. One of the things we've been encouraging everybody is to don't stop your marketing. We get it. Everybody's got to tighten things up, but it's you've got to keep communicating with your audience, letting them know that you're still in business, that you're still doing things. So yeah, but thankfully we've been able to kind of work around it. We're hopeful that with the reopening, we'll be getting out to do some shoots. And we're just kind of taking it based on clients' comfort level too, which honestly is like how we're doing it in my household with our personal lives is like people's comfort level. Like we're very comfortable. We're ready to like go see people and stop going crazy. But we have some people that, you know, either are very concerned or some people who are in that category of like higher risk. So we're just trying to be, you know, loving family and friends to
For
everyone
sure.
that needs
No,
it.
that's a good approach. Yep. Always be smart. Yeah, I was just curious. Nick, Nick, you made us some cocktails. What are we drinking?
These are limousine rye Manhattans. So, because where our tasting room is closed, we don't have any fruits. There's no orange peel in there. And so at home, if you're ever mixing drinks and you don't have fresh fruit to put in there, a tip I have for you as a master mixologist, is look for artificial fruit juices and let me take artificial fruit juices, okay? Because artificial fruit juices have citric acid in them, which is going to make your drink pop, which is what citrus does. So if you ever you're making a G&T, if you're making a Manhattan and you don't have an orange, you don't have that, just a splash of artificial fruit juice will give you that citric acid you want.
I'm going to write that down.
I feel like that might be opposite to what we're normally told, right? You know, like, oh no, fresh ingredients and you know, natural stuff. And I'm cool with whatever somebody says, hey, this is the best. So I might have to go pick up some, what'd you say, artificial?
It's not the best. It's not the best, but if you don't have real fruit, it works in a pinch.
Yeah.
You know, if the thing with
I like it.
A lot of people, if you're at someone's house, they'll be like, hey, you want a drink? I'll make you an old fashioned. And if you make somebody an old fashioned without an orange, like an actual orange in it, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just disrespectful. You're wasting everyone's time. You need weed. So like when we talk about drinks specifically, there's 3 things that we need for sure to make sure it's delicious. The first thing is a spirit. And if you're making a mocktail, it's not a spirit then, but then we need a main component. We need something to make the drink's body, right? The second thing that we need is dilution. Spirits are too strong themselves for your palate to actually pick them up. So we need to give the alcohol a little bit of water so it doesn't give you a chemical burn when you swallow it. So when you take a shot of alcohol, that is actually, and you feel that burn, it's actually a chemical burn where the alcohol is taking the water out of your tongue. And so if you give it water and make it stable, it won't do that, and you can actually taste it. And so that's why dilution is so important in a cocktail. And the third part is acidity. Our taste buds are designed to work off of the presence of acidity. And so when we have acidity, we know, where our tongue knows, this is food. This, I should sense this. And I shouldn't say acidity. It's changes in pH, extreme changes in pH. So basic, and which would be like adding salt, etc., or acidity, which would be adding acids. And so I would definitely always reach for fresh fruit first. But if you're in a pinch, artificial fruit juice will work for sure.
That's good. That's reassuring, because I think we often have a lot of that around as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that water thing, I know with Scotch, and please do let me know if my audio still sucks, people. I'll keep tweaking it, and then we can let these guys talk. With Scotch, a recommendation that I've heard from somebody in tasting is like, you know, hit it with a little bit of water, give it a couple drops of water, and you can see something happening. I don't know what it is. It looks kind of cool and swirly as soon as you get that drop in there. And I'm told that it sounds like my mic is way better according to the viewer. So awesome. Thanks for looking at that, Bo.
I'm giving you a thumbs up.
Looked at it. But, you know, I do that type of thing. I've never compared pre and post a little drop. And certainly, you know, when you mix something, it's hard to say because I haven't compared it. But again, with the master, would you call yourself?
I'm a literal master mixologist certified by the USBG. So like normally I would never actually
that's amazing.
I would never introduce myself as such, but because I have an actual, you know, it was years of work and education and training that I went through. I do actually throw it out, but I throw it out with a lot of, you know what I mean? I'm rather cavalier when I say master, because I think it's ridiculous, but I'm a bartender. I was trained as a bartender, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had your drinks before, and I can vouch. So
I
if you tell me something, I'm gonna go do it.
Appreciate
when I shared this event, I described you as a mad genius scientist and part good old Wisconsin boy. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think the best way to put it is I'm a professional flavor moonshiner. That's the best way to put it. So I've baked for Domino Sugar at America's Baking and Sweet Show. I've done YouTube videos. I've done recipe videos for our own companies. I love flavor. I came from baking, and at the end of the day, I'm just a chemistry nerd. And I found a really good home to be a chemistry nerd here because it's all we do is play with chemistry and flavor.
That's one of the things I love just about your personality as well. You're such an enthusiastic person, love to joke around and be around. But then as soon as we get, back into where you're distilling and doing stuff, boom, like it's all science. And just the level of science just blows me away. Like, your stuff, and that's expected. However, I'm just always amazed whenever we're hanging out. I'm like, no, just tell me more. What's that thing? Okay, how's that work? Yeah, teach me about science and, the alcohol in that and how you're pulling that out and what you're doing in this machine, I love it as a nerd of many other things. I resonate with your nerdiness as well.
But the thing is, and the beautiful thing about alcohol is if you're an adult, you have even if you don't drink, if you don't drink, for let's say you have an allergy, like you're an alcoholic, or say you have family issues with drinking, then I'm not talking to you right now, and I'm not trying to be rude to you when I exclude you. But everyone besides those people, when they look at alcohol, they have memories and experiences with alcohol that are generally positive. And it might not even be of consuming alcohol, but just of oh, my granddaddy used to drink whiskey. My granddaddy used to make whiskey. You know what I mean? We used to make our own vanilla extract. There's so many things that people don't realize. Chemistry is so entrenched into all of our lives. And if you bake, if you cook food on a daily, any of this stuff, if you are a chemist, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That makes you a chemist. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful thing. And what we really try to embrace and celebrate here at the Dancing Goat is that everyone is a chemist. And everyone already has these abilities, and you already know what's going on in this glass. We just want to show you. And to be considered an expert, you don't just have to make good products, because there's so many people who make good products. You have to be able to make a good product, and then with no smoke screen, no smoke and mirrors, you have to replicate it, and you have to be able to be honest about it. And that's the difference about our industry is there aren't any secrets. I could sit here and say, well, my secret Kentucky water made this bourbon so good. You know what I mean? And that's what the liquor industry's been doing for hundreds of years, is making people think that it's inaccessible, that you can't make it. We can only make it. Louisville can only make it. Kentucky can only make it. But that's not true. We all know that there's spirits in all of our lives, that we celebrate, whether it's a little vanilla extract for baking or a Manhattan on the weekends. So many people love alcohol and don't even realize it.
Let's keep stroking Nick's ego, man. You are gregarious. But unfortunately, you're not an eligible bachelor any longer.
I'm not.
Married, huh?
I am engaged. So I'm hoping to get married. I'm hoping to get married this fall.
Oh yeah, nice.
If I'm able.
Yeah, it depends on how big you want your party, right?
My problem is I got a huge family, so I have.
Sure.
There will be. I think. No, it ain't it's not a problem unless I can't have 100 people gather. Yeah, I think I literally between aunts, uncles, cousins, and then second cousins, like my cousin's children, and I'm really close to all my cousins. I have about 90 people in my family, and that's just my side. That's not her side. Right? And so it's gonna, if we can only have, we're still gonna get married either way. But if we can only have 10 people or 30 people gather, we're gonna get married and then have
have a party later.
Yeah. It's because this happened. It's no excuse to put life on pause. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
I want to marry this broad and start a family. She wants to marry this dumb hillbilly and start a family. So we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? We're gonna get it done.
Oh my gosh, I love that. 100%. Yeah, my wife works in the wedding industry. She makes wedding gowns, and it's so funny, because people have had to push, but a lot of people are just like, yeah, nah, we're getting this done. We'll throw a crazy party next year, but we're gonna get this done because this has got to happen. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
I've been waiting so long to marry this woman that's like, I can't wait any longer. I can't.
Yeah.
She might marry someone else. I got to do it.
Well,
yeah. And if you've been watching any commercials, now is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now is the time.
It's like, I want to marry you in this unprecedented time. Yeah. The thing I like, years and years ago, we used to do some more wedding video stuff, mostly for friends and family. And when people would be like stressed out about things that were, like, well, what if it rains or what, the things that come up. I always used to just encourage people like, whatever happens, that's just a part of your unique story,
That's your experience.
And like, in some ways, it's kind of, it's kind of cool. Like, you're going to be telling your grandkids, the story about like, yeah, we got married and this is how it had to happen because of this crazy pandemic. And yeah,
absolutely.
End of story.
That's it. You just gotta embrace it and have a willingness to participate regardless of anything that's out of your control.
Correct. And that's something that we've talked about a lot here in every aspect of what we've been doing with the hand sanitizer and the tasting room closing. And if we're going to open up with everything, is just, take it slow. Life can't, because this happened doesn't mean, here's a good, totally off topic, but here's an analogy. If you've ever met somebody who smokes cigarettes, who quit smoking cigarettes, and then they have a couple drinks and they smoke one. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I smoked one. It's all, I'm done quitting because I smoked one. And they could have had 3, 4, 5, 6 months without a cigarette. They made one mistake. It doesn't mean anything. They don't even have a pack, but they'll go the next day and buy a package because in their head they ruined it. And we can't think of the COVID crisis as the same way. This doesn't ruin anything. This pauses things. We can't have concerts anymore. We need to learn how to work in confined spaces differently. We need to learn how to sanitize and clean things differently. We need to carry a different strategic national reserve. But we can still love each other. We can still celebrate love. We're closer. We're able to communicate now more than we ever have been. And it might be driving us crazy to be apart for a little bit, but this doesn't actually mean it's over or that it's broken. It just means that we need to take a minute to retool it. Sorry, my little digression, but
no, that's I love it. I love it because it's taking it in a realistic approach. Like, things are going to happen like this again, and how do you handle it? Do you freak out and just curl up in a ball, or do you look outside and take one more step forward and keep going on with life? And hey, maybe we do have to wear masks in some situations and the social distancing and things like that. Maybe shaking hands doesn't happen for a little while. Who knows? Like, those types of things. But yeah, I mean, life, to turn a phrase, life finds a way.
Correct. Absolutely.
Do you guys see things like kind of after this that might change or shape your business, that you kind of pick up now, but maybe you see them as something that you change?
I can talk about my half of the business, and then Bo wants to talk about his because we're both in really different parts of it. We help each other as much as we can in those parts, but we really have different expertises. And so from my standpoint, COVID has really put a wrench in our construction expansion plans. I'd be halfway through construction by now if we were able to start when we wanted to, but we can't. We couldn't. We could have, because construction's essential, but I didn't want strangers in here working. I didn't want this place to become a petri dish. I had to make that decision. And so we put a pause on the expansion, and it's a huge expansion. And it actually gave us a minute to really look at some things and say, okay, there's a new normal, and we don't have to plan for it to be permanent, but we should plan on it to be permanent for now, for the next couple of years, at least. So let's plan on changing the way that we work and the way that we interact on site and the way that we carry ourselves. And so for production employees, we actually redid some spaces to make them 6 feet apart. We made them more as like transient workstations. So people aren't going to have, the production guys aren't going to have their own desks. They're not going to have personal possessions here. They're going to have a workstation. You can come in, bring whatever you want for the day, sit down. But these are production guys. They're not doing marketing. They're not doing sales. They all have portable computers. And if you need to do your paperwork, I'm going to tell them, do your paperwork at home. Don't be here. I don't want you here. I want the single operator here. That's it. And it's not because I don't like you, but it's because it's safe. You know what I mean? People always complain about spending time at work, but the amazing thing is the amount of time people spend at work not working. And I'm not trying to complain about people not working or they're doing their jobs, but like Dusty, my one of my assistants, he'll get off, if he's getting off shift and I'm getting on shift, he'll stick around for 30, 45 minutes just chatting at me. And I love it and it's great, but in the last 6 weeks we've had to go, Dusty, I'll see you later. And the same thing to me. I love to talk to Dusty, but it's like, yo, Nicky boy, get the out of here,
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been looking at is I actually redid a lot of our construction to say, these workstations need to be 6 feet apart. We're going to do 3 here instead of 6. And then all the surfaces, everything that we're installing, there are no shelves or ledges. So all of the equipment got changed so that we call it a dust shelf, but it's so there's no ridges, so we can wash everything down really fast. It's more money, but it's from a sanitation standpoint, it makes sense. So we actually are upgrading all of our standards to pharmaceutical grade standards for manufacturing instead of food grade standards. And that's where the dust shelves come through because it's easier to clean. And that's what we did in the back per se. In the tasting room, which is another realm that's mine, we will probably never reopen in the same capacity we were in before because frankly, we can't, until there's a vaccine, we can't put 99 people in here and 33 people on our patio. You know what I mean? We can't even, technically, the way that I'm looking at our stools right now, you wouldn't even have to go every other seat. You'd have to go every third seat. Well, who's going to come into a bar and sit, one person every 3 stools? That's not what you're here for. It doesn't even make sense for me to staff it that way, But
well, that's an interesting thing with kind of consumer psychology, because even if everybody is, comfortable, well, even if they kind of give us the all clear, there's been a lot of talk about what will people do when they can go out, and that gets back to some people are just gonna be a little more concerned and other people aren't, and you already see that playing out. And as a business, you kind of have to figure out where to strike that balance too with people coming in.
And the thing is you got to look at our place like it's multiple businesses in one because we have multiple staffs. You know what I mean? I have corporate staff, I have production staff. And when I say corporate staff, I mean Bo and other people that are doing marketing work and sales work. I have production that's only here, but then I also have bar staff. And trying to get all of those 3 worlds into one, it's so hard. And even if we do a good job of it, it's like you said, if we create a great space, we've already created a great space to come and drink in, but we didn't do it for you to drink socially distant. Because that's not how we build bars at all.
Yeah.
There's no bar in America that's socially distant. If there was one, it would close because it sucks. No, it's not. I've been designing bars for rich dudes for a long time, and that's not. I'm just telling you, public. That's not how we build them. We build them for social inclusion, for gatherings of groups, for isolation of individual groups, for high traffic pours. To get volume served to people and to get dirty dishes back into the kitchen. That's how we design a bar. Well, none of that. I mean, that's if you think about what I just said, servers are going in between groups of people who are talking and laughing and they're getting closer. But it's just, how do you have a place for the consumption of spirits and socialness in a social distant climate? You can't. And so what I've looked at is, we've always said that this is an educational facility first and foremost. Now we're saying that this is an educational facility, period. When people come here, it will not be to consume alcohol with their friends. And that breaks my heart. But one of the things that we're doing is we're installing a classroom. And in that classroom at a safe distance, everyone's going to have their own still where they can come in and you guys will be able to sit down and make your own gin. And so let's say like the Backflip team wanted to come in, you'd come in, there'd be 2 people to a table, you'd be on opposite corners of the table. Everyone would have their
We're in.
still.
Can we sign up?
Yeah.
Where do we sign up? We're in.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get you guys.
Sorry, continue.
Classes. But
You'll be the first groups. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. But you'll come in and we'll have a conversation about safety, and then we'll have a conversation about gin, its structure, its ingredients, and their roles within gin. So we'll have that little full circle conversation, and then voila, you get to go for hour and a half, 2 hours, and do your own thing. There'll be a member of our staff there, if not 2 of them, to walk amongst you, answer questions, help out, give insight, whatever that is, or just stay out of the way if that's what they need to do. And then you'll make your own gin. And then at the end of the class, the employee that was running the class will stay in the lab, and then I'll take everyone down to the other lab, which is where I'm seated right now, our tasting room, and we'll all go to the bar, and I'll get in the middle of the bar, and I will give everybody a sample of their own gin, and we'll make a gin and tonic, and I'll teach everyone how to make a perfect gin and tonic, and then we'll also just talk about the drinks and what we did, what we learned, and then at the end, while we're sitting there, my staff up in the lab will proof and gauge. So gauging is verifying the proof and the volume. So they'll gauge every package, label it for you, and then you'll leave with your own bottle of gin.
So, I mean, given, where we're at, the current affairs, the state of the world, I mean, we'll have certain protocols that we didn't plan for, doing a gin class. So we'll compose those and we'll have to prepare those. So, back to John's question. Obviously the answer is yes. No matter how many plans we have, what programs we had scheduled, nobody anticipated all of the on-premise restaurants and bars to be closed for 2 months. Las Vegas casinos never planned to close their doors. They don't have locks on their doors.
Never. They don't have locks.
You know what I mean?
They couldn't lock the doors in Vegas.
The spirits industry it's inherently social. It's very much relationship based. No matter what programs, tastings, events, promotions that we have scheduled, those either got canceled or postponed. Nick and I laugh about, we had like 6, 7, 8 different trips from the month of March to the end of April that, are no longer going to happen, obviously. We're into the month of May, and it's just like, usually March and April are our busiest times of the year. And we've just been staying at home, obviously doing our part because that's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah. Bo and I we had over 10 trips canceled total, and 6 of them were my bachelor parties. I had 6 confirmed, ticketed, planned, friends coming, 6
no
different
big deal.
bachelor parties.
Whatever.
Every single
cool.
one is fucking canceled. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but every single one is canceled. I was actually talking to Bo about this yesterday because it's like, I'm not even going to have one now because I just want to be able to say to my kids, I had 6 bachelor parties and they all got canceled. So I stayed home to make sanitizer because I'm a hero.
Yeah, Nick, we're going for another Guinness Book of World Records, apparently.
Yeah. You had 6 socially distanced bachelor parties, right?
No. See, this is all. Apparently not, because they got canceled.
This is what happened. It was kind of like a Noah flood sort of situation. God looked down and was like, Nick's got 6 bachelor parties planned. Now I think we're gonna go ahead and cancel that.
Not doing any. Yeah, I did. He gave
none of that.
He took it away for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep going on these questions, but I do want to take a moment, remind anyone who's watching, please do post comments below. We can ask questions. We are live. That's, part of the purpose of this is to hang out and hear your questions and ask these guys whatever questions you have. It can be about anything, we're just talking about life, love, and work and whatever. But it is time to play a game, and I wish I had a button that could bring up like a game board or something. But it's time to play 2 Truths and a Lie to get to know each other a little bit better. better. How's that sound?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I think we've played it maybe 3 times now, John and I. So I don't know how many more I can do, but this is going to be great because now we're kind of pulling out things that are real deep cuts. So you'll have to try hard, and the winner wins all of our admiration. You get all the points, and please, whoever's watching, vote down below. Maybe we can give you a prize if you get everything correct. But I will start because we'll go me and John, and then we'll finish with our guests, and we'll continue for a little bit longer on some of these questions because I've definitely got some more. So 2 truths and a lie. One time I cheated and what did I tell? 3 truths or 3 lies? I can't remember. It was an accident. I got all flustered. Yeah, but 2 truths and a lie. So the first one is that when I was a kid at my grandmother's house, I accidentally put my grandparents' car, I think it was, into reverse, and they lived on a hill, and the car went out of the driveway, down across the road, into the neighbor's bushes. So that's my first one. My second one is that I first had this gin last year when we first started working together. I got a gin drink made by, I think it might have been Bo. We'll just say it was Bo. This is a Bo. This is a gin called Death's Door. It's distilled with juniper from Washington Island, Wisconsin. It's crafted with 3 botanicals: juniper, I don't know why I started with 3, juniper, coriander, and fennel seeds. And that's how you get that floral flavor and sense. I produced a video on this as well, and I should know better how to speak the brand. But it's great. I was at the liquor store too, and there's a new label that's a little bit more blue. And I was like, wait, is this a special one? And I was like trying to discern while not touching and getting all handsy with them. It must just be the newer version or something has a little bit more blue in it. But that's my second one. The first time I had it was with these guys at the Dancing Goat. My third one is that I have been to an island called Tortola.
Tortola.
Tortola
Island.
Tortola.
So,
Get any follow-up questions, or you just have to work off of?
You just gotta work it out. I think I'll let you guys work your magic first, because I think I might.
Yeah.
I think I know.
So just a reminder, and please do comment below. More importantly, when Bo and Nick give their answers, that'll be more fun. But number 1 is a car rolling down my grandparents' driveway into the bush across the street. I was in it. And number 2, what the heck was number 2?
Gin.
Or you had Death's Door last year.
The first time I had it was last year with these guys. And number 3 is that I've been to an island called Tortola.
Frequent the island of Tortuga.
Tortuga.
I'm calling bullshit on Tortuga. I don't think that's a real island.
Yeah, where can you find Tortuga?
It's a vote for Tortuga. Is that yours too, Bo?
I'm gonna go with Tortuga Island is a lie.
Is a fabrication.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, John?
The car, backing the car.
I really wish I had a button that says I win, because those are all truths.
Yeah, you truth.
You're a lie. He's been to Tortuga.
I have been to Tortola. It's a British Virgin Island that I was at 4 years ago for a buddy's wedding. And I was reminded on Facebook today about it. They had a post, or maybe it was like it was my picture. It was like one of those memories. So pictures that I've taken. It's amazing out there. Tortola, British Virgin Islands. I recommend you go there. You go on the Gold Coast side. Oh my gosh, the Gold Coast side. It's like there's the touristy side where the ships land, and then the other side, which is just this coast. And there was maybe 10 other people who weren't in our party on this giant bay. It was amazing. So I recommend going there when this all lets up. Then the car thing, that came up last week. That was actually John's lie last week. And he shared it as like, tell a friend's story like it's a truth, because it'll sound more real, which is a really great tactic. And I'm just like loving this inside, because that happened to me as a kid at my grandparents' house. And I don't remember whose car it was, but I was in a car, put it in the neutral or whatever, whatever the hand thing, the switch, the gear shifter, the switcher. Man, I'm dying here. But then it went down across the street. It wasn't that far. It was just a street, but into the bushes, and that could have been real terrible. But that's apparently a thing that happened to kids in the early 90s, I guess. Like, we had a lot of problems putting it into neutral. And then the lie is that I had this for the first time last year with these guys. When we first met, I was like, oh my gosh, Death Door. Yes, that's one of the ones that we love and that we have at our house. Because it's local, there's like, hey, there's local and it's good. That's 200% of a good reason to have it at your house. So we'd had this before. So that was my lie.
Great lie, Ryan. Great lie.
Yeah.
Well,
I figured you guys might know that. Like, we did talk about it a little bit. I was like, oh, this is one of my wife's favorites. But I was throwing it out there just to see.
yeah.
Must have missed that
Go
one.
us.
Sorry, John. Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. Sorry, everybody.
All right, guys. Which one of you wants to go?
We needed some dancing goat guys.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll 2 truths and a lie.
Do it, dude.
All right.
All right, Bo.
I'm in the same vein as Ryan, driving, that sort of thing. I have first one is I have no moving violations behind the wheel of car, truck, any vehicle. The next one.
I'm trying to look at the flush of your face as we're answering this.
Yeah, I got some natural light. Can you see?
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. We're watching.
I have commuted on a Vespa on the island of Formentera and traveled to every beach in one day. And then I had paella at the end of the day and watched the sunset.
I would love for this to be the lie just because of the dedication to the details.
And the third one is I have a deviated septum from a deviated septum surgery. Am I a little nasally?
Follow up.
Reason why? Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's
Follow up. Deviated septum surgery is the purpose to deviate your septum, or is it something else that happened during the surgery?
well, if you have deviated septum surgery, they attempt to correct the septum. In this case, maybe not. Might be true, might be false. I don't know.
They might
Here,
have maybe
lean a little closer.
it the other way.
I had the surgery, but they only deviated the septum further.
They couldn't fix it. They went the other way, and they're like, sorry, it's going to bend the other way.
It was too deviant.
This septum, we can't treat this one. What do we do here? I don't know. Just suture him up.
Yeah. Oh, let's
Here,
deviate it the
lean a
other
little
way.
closer. Let's see that septum. Ooh, it's tricky. I can't tell if it's a trick of the lighting.
It wasn't crooked before the septum surgery.
It does take a right turn there.
Dude, it takes a hard turn. Dude, it scoops.
It takes a clear about face right about halfway down.
So let me repeat these. No moving violations in any vehicle. I took a Vespa trip to every beach on the island of Formentera in the Baltic, and I ate paella at sunset. And the third one was the deviated septum. I had septum surgery and still have a deviated septum.
Were you with somebody else on number 2?
I may have been with a group.
A romantic group date for sunset having paella?
Of friends who met in their undergrad at the University of Iowa.
There's nothing romantic about Formentera.
I'm going number 1. He's got a movie violation. He's got a ticket.
Number one. You're saying is number 1 is a lie.
And I'll go next, and we'll leave Nick for last because you might have a little bit of insider information.
I can't answer this one because I know it would be cheating for me to answer.
Yeah, so you go after me, and maybe he gets you.
Okay.
Let's see, Formentera. There's a lot of details in there. So sometimes when we lie, we provide too many details. I don't know why I said too many. Like, this is how I speak ASL. Too many details, or we don't provide enough details. There were a lot of details in number 2 and number 3.
Mixed bag.
Not that many in number 1. Let's see, driving. I know you were driving from Chicagoland area to here for a little while. I'm going to go with number 1 as well. The other ones have a lot of detail, so I'm going to go with number 1.
You're saying 1 is the lie?
I think 1 is the lie.
Okay. John, what about you? Did you also guess number 1, John?
I guess number 1.
I would tell you that I was with Bo for sure in Formentera, so he definitely was there. He went to every beach. It was a great
super
day.
Romantic.
Let me tell you, there was no romance on that trip, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And then one thing I do know about my friend Bo is he is an obnoxiously safe driver. However, and what was your other? But I also know that he has a deviated septum. So I'm gonna go with number 1 as well. I'm
You
gonna
guys
say
are smarter than you look.
I think he has 1 moving violation.
Just kidding. You're as smart as you look. Yeah, I have a careless driving from Chicago. I don't unsubstantiated. I don't agree with it, but
Also don't.
one moving violation in all of my years.
Do you just go to court and you're like, agree to disagree?
Yes. I lawyered up.
Nice. So we got that one. I don't know what we win, but now Nick, you're up.
Send you a prize in the mail.
Oh yeah. Socially distancedly, send me some prizes in the mail.
I'll sanitize it before I drop it in the box. Don't worry.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna lick the bottle. I'm assuming it's a bottle.
It's a bottle. It's a bottle. It's not a can.
It's a bottle of compliments that you like wrote and rolled up and put them in the bottle.
Poor compliment here.
Safe for everyone.
Absolutely.
All right. What do you got for us, Nick?
Okay, so I am classically trained in Spanish guitar.
Ooh, it seemed like you could have almost gone a different way with that one.
I could have told you a lie, but instead I said tell you the truth. I am a Gryffindor. Okay. And bourbon is my favorite spirit.
Ooh, interesting.
You repeat those?
Yeah. Bourbon is my favorite spirit. I'm classically trained in Spanish guitar. And I forgot what the other one was. What was the other one that I said?
You're a Gryffindor.
And then I'm a Gryffindor. Yeah, and then I'm a Gryffindor.
All right.
Yeah, you're like, that is definitely the truth.
Nick and I are basically platonic life partners and know everything.
Yeah, you go last.
Yeah, I'll go last.
All right, John, what do you got?
Let's see. Well, Gryffindor is a made-up thing from a fictional book, but but I believe it.
Yo, you believe it, huh? Great.
I'm gonna say I wouldn't put the classical training in Spanish guitar past you, but I feel like you might have been looking at my background and got a little influenced
I
on
love that.
I don't.
I love that psychoanalyst.
You got a Spanish guitar back there? I see a wide body. I see a hollow body.
there's
I think it's just how you
Oh.
hold it. You
Oh.
hold it like this.
one on the end right there.
You got some. Yeah, there you go. You got some nice stuff over there. What's behind you? Is that a 6-string electric behind you? Yeah, electric acoustic.
That's an electric acoustic. These
Yeah.
are the ones that I don't actually play that often. And then I have a nicer acoustic electric upstairs, but
Nice.
this one my wife was supposed to learn how to play and she never did. And then this one I had a long time ago because it was cheap.
Cheap is
Sounds
great.
alright. Yeah.
Cheap is great. My wife to be was supposed to learn how to drive a boat, and she didn't do that either. So maybe mine and yours can be friends.
Yeah. They can be friends and not learn how to do anything.
Amanda will play the guitar on your fiance's boat. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going with, Spanish guitar.
Great answer. How about you, Bo?
All right, so we got. I gotta go.
Oh, you didn't.
Bo's gotta go last.
I thought you already
'Cause-
went.
No, that's okay. I skip people all the time. True story. That's a truth.
That's the truth.
In one of these, we ended. I was like, okay, or I was trying to end and move on to the next thing, and John's like, we forgot someone. So let's see. You got Gryffindor. Everyone wants to be a Gryffindor, and I feel like it's offensive to not be a Gryffindor. I think I'm probably Slytherin, just because I don't know, what is it? Courage is for Gryffindor, but Slytherin has like a little bit of slyness and then cunning. Yeah, because then there's Ravenclaw too, but I didn't test into Ravenclaw. I did it online because I'm so cool.
Screw those guys.
I mean,
Cedric Diggory
I feel
can
like
eat it, dude.
I feel like you could be a Gryffindor. That could be made up though. But I feel like you could be a Gryffindor. I mean, it seems legit to me in this made up world that we live in. So then we got Spanish guitar and what was the third one? Should probably write this down.
I said that I was classically trained in Spanish guitar, that I was a Gryffindor,
Yeah, number one.
and that bourbon was my favorite spirit.
Bourbon. Okay. I feel like we've talked about this before. Bourbon. Yeah. Bourbon. Have you ever made bourbon?
Yeah,
I've
I've made everything. I made bourbon. I made tequila. Me and Bo have made tequila before. In tequila, we've made it all.
Jalisco.
Is breaking news? Is there going to be a bourbon?
Yeah, we will have bourbon. Actually, we made a COVID bourbon a couple weeks ago. It is a
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
yeah. So it's a high rye bourbon. It's about 44% rye, 40% rye. So it'll be real spicy, real sweet. And half of it it was actually waste grain that we had, and so half of it went into sanitizer, and then the other half became bourbon to try to help us. The way that we're paying for a lot of the sanitizer is making these special barrels that we'll then release later, and hoping people who got free sanitizer will come and buy a bottle of, the COVID series, so to speak.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So bourbon is your favorite classical guitar. Ah, man, I really want to go with bourbon because I can't remember. But when you were saying that about the classic guitar, you're like, I'm classically trained in, or Spanish guitar, or whatever you said. It was like, I'm classically trained in Spanish guitar. So it seemed like a little bit of, like the wheels were turning a little, and I wonder if you're classically trained in something else, and you just switched it to classic guitar or Spanish guitar to confuse us. So I'll vote that as well. I'll hop on that bandwagon.
Okay. Bo, do you have anything to add?
Here's where I'm gonna start. I know for a fact bourbon is not your favorite spirit.
No, I hate bourbon.
Your spirit is
It's terrible.
Rum.
it is rum.
100%. I'm a rum drinker. Aged rum. Funky aged rum
Oh,
from Jamaica.
nice.
Hogwarts houses. I'm not super familiar. I want to say you're either Slytherin or Ravenclaw. I don't know for sure.
I'm a Slytherin.
And Spanish guitar. I know you have the dexterity. However,
3 lies.
I've never seen you finger stroke any
3 lies.
3 lies.
3 lies.
3 lies.
3 of them.
Dang it.
He's just a liar.
Yeah, I am a Slytherin. I don't know if you can see it, but this is my Dark Mark mask. And I like to say that I'm a Slytherin not because I'm evil, because not every Slytherin is evil, but because I believe in cunning and I make potions.
Yes. Ooh. I should have known that when you had that answer. Like Slytherin, the qualities, you got cunning. Should have known.
Should have known.
Yeah.
Dang. We got to be prepared for either the first time we played this, the person only told us 3 truths. I've lied once on accident because I got flustered. I had two lies and a truth, and now we've had 3 lies.
You gave me the idea. I said they.
That's impressive.
I said they need it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will give you 3 truths now that I've given you 3 lies. My favorite spirit is aged rum from probably Trinidad or Barbados. So much.
You gotta talk to the mic.
Oh, sorry. My favorite drink is aged rum, like Barbadian or Jamaican aged rum. I am a Slytherin for sure. If I was in a house, I'd be a Slytherin, but I would not be a Death Eater. I'm not a Death Eater. And then my final remark is that my parents tried so hard when I was a child to get me to play an instrument. They actually, I started playing so many, but I got kicked out of bands so many times that eventually they just put me in karate.
Some like American Taekwondo.
Yeah, American Taekwondo.
Yeah, baby, that's what I did.
An international kickboxing, American kickboxing, a little bit of Muay Thai, and then Shotokan karate I did for like 10, 12 years. But this is like when I stopped doing it when I was like 14, 15. This is all when I was like young. You know, this was literally just to get the jitters out. It was like, this kid is crazy.
He needs an activity.
Yeah, get the jitters out.
Yeah.
Did
you ever?
I was first
compete?
year alto saxophone.
You were a sax man.
To my high school years.
But Nick, you seem more like the inspiration for like the bad guy in Karate Kid that like
Cobra Kai.
Slytherin.
I am kind of Cobra Kai. You got that right.
you got
That's literally right now, right?
Hey, we have a question from a viewer
on
our channel.
Yes.
I think this is probably directed to you, Nick Brady. It's actually from someone you know. What kind of advice would you give someone on the stream who doesn't have limousine rye or a limousine rye cocktail to enjoy right now? They're experiencing mild FOMO.
Is this Finelli?
If not right now, this evening.
Well, I would recommend. Is this person in Illinois?
Go pick some up.
Yeah, go buy some. Get off your lazy butt and go buy some.
Bonnaroo is in Iowa.
Oh, it's Eric? Oh, to tell him
As far as I know.
he's screwed because there ain't none in Iowa. I'd tell him to go
That
make.
store's on special order in Iowa. You can find
if you can't buy mine, you might as well make your own because you're going to be disappointed.
There you go.
That's
now,
good.
there's another question from our channel asking about the name Dancing Goat and if you guys have a goat as a mascot by any chance.
Oh my God. I have a saga for you.
Go for it.
Do you want to hear the goat saga?
Yes.
100%.
So we do have a goat obsession here at the Dancing Goat for sure. The name started because we were in New Glarus, and we originally were going to buy the New Glarus, the old brewery that they had, and I toured it with one of their production staff, and they asked, and this is when I was a very young guy. I'd never had anything stolen from me in business before. I'd only
What
had
year is
this is 2013 or 2014. But we toured the facility, and the guy just asked me, he's like, what do you even want this place for, a cheese plant? And I was like, no, dude, I'm building a distillery here. And he's like, well, how would you do that? And I told them, oh, well, real easy. I'm going to put corn cookers right there. I'm going to put a grain silo. And I told them exactly, because I toured it and I said, and I called my dad up and I said, this place is perfect. Let's buy it right now. And they were just like, well, what are you going to do? And so we leave and we walk out. We're like, yeah, this is great. And I'm driving back home. And this point in time, I was living in Chicago. And I'm driving back home and I get a phone call from the guy that I just toured with. And he said, hey, I'm sorry, it's not for sale anymore. And I said, what do you mean? You told me you needed to sell it next month. Like you needed, like they were so hard pressed to get us up there to tour it. You know what I'm saying? That it seemed really like they really wanted to get rid of this facility. And then the response was, well, actually, after we heard what you said, the owner's considering building a distillery in the space. And so I was just like, oof. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? And so as a very young man, with some pride issues, I was like, we're going to build it in their town and put them out of business. And so we started looking at other properties. And if you know the company I'm talking about, you know, I'm not going to put them out of business. And that's not even my intent. You know, I was just kind of, you know, peeved off. But so we're looking, but I'm set. I'm like, we're putting it in Glarus. We're putting it in New Glarus. And we found an old, it was an old mini golf course, and it's right on Main Street, New Glarus. And if you've ever been to New Glarus, every house on Main Street or every structure on Main Street has to be designed in that old A-frame style. They literally want you to feel like you're in Switzerland when you're there. And so if you build new, it has to be that A-frame style. And so there's this wicked little mini golf course with a wicked little A-frame. And I'm outside of it. My business partner at the time is outside of it. And then my dad pulls up. And so my dad is 6'8". He's about 300 pounds. He's a huge dude. And we're sitting and he yeah a lot. So like you'll be talking to him, he's like, yeah. And so and so I'm sitting there and he's like, all right, he says like, Travis, can we do it money wise? And Travis like, oh yeah, you know, cheap land. And then he's like, all right, Nick, what are we gonna do? And I was like, all right, we need another driveway in here, we need silos here, we need loading bays in here, you know, we get 6 cookers and bring them in. I was like, there's not enough corn around here, so we'll probably have to cook rye. And that's actually where we got the idea to cook mostly rye. And then my dad says, he's like, what are you gonna do with the mini golf course? You rip it out? And I go, hell no, man. I was like, we're gonna put a structure over it, just a roof over it, and leave it open air, and that'll be our tasting room. You know, people can come and they can putt golf for free and get our spirits and have a cocktail. And my dad was like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Let's do it. And I was like, yeah, great, let's do it. So we're sitting there and we're just doing the finishing touches on, Swissland miniature golf, 100%. That's it. This is what we were going to buy. So this guy right here. Is this on everyone else's screen?
Yeah, hang on. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can pull that up.
I'm sharing my screen right now. I did a quick Google search for the Swissland mini golf, and the third photo is a goat on putt golf hole like 3. On top of.
So that goat right there. I mean, I'm telling you, it has to be the same goat. We're sitting there, and right out, it was a little look just like that because you can see the green on that roof. It was just this little green and brown little structure that you put into, and this goat comes out, and we're at a chain link fence, and he comes straight up to us, and he sticks his head through the chain link fence, and he's kind of swaying against, like he's trying to push through it, but it looks like he's swaying back and forth like he was dancing, and he kept going at us. You look at all these things. Yeah, and so then another one came out, and then another one came out. And then another, and so there's like 5, 6, 7, 8 of these things, and they're all up against the fence with their heads up, and they're all going after. They're ignoring me, they're ignoring Travis, and they're all going after Tom. And so, and Tom's just sitting there, and he starts laughing. And at first we were trying to ignore him, and so you know, Tom was talking over the goats, and then I was talking over the goats, and Travis was talking over the goats. But eventually you just can't ignore them anymore because there was like 5, 6, 7, 8 of these things just coming at us. I mean, just coming at us. And the goats, I guess the goats are just left there all the time to keep the grass green. But when we were there, the golf course is completely defunct. I mean, overgrown, and you know what I'm saying? So So we always had it. So at that point in time, we said we were going to be the Cambridge Distilling Company. That was the name. I'm sorry, no, we weren't going to. We were going to be the Wisconsin Distilling Company. That was the name. We decided against that, and so we ended up in Cambridge here, and we said we were going to be the Cambridge Distilling Company. And but even without that, we always knew that we wanted goats because of that goat thing. We just thought it was so funny. My dad just thought it's the funniest thing in the world. And so we get back to Cambridge, and I ended up so I own another liquor brand with my father called Rum Chata, which a lot of people know and in this state really love. And thank you for all those people who do love that brand. I really thank you because you helped me build this place. So really, all my Rum Chata supporters, my family loves you, we love you, and thank you so much. I was contacted by a Wisconsin farmer, and the Wisconsin farmer said, "Hi, you don't know me, but you dated somebody, that's in the vet school now, and they gave me your email, and this is crazy, but my cousin's cousin has a goat named Rum Chata, and it needs a home. It's sick and it needs a home." And I was like, "What? I was like, this is our goat. Are you kidding me?" So I drove all the way up to Monticello. I think, was it Monticello, Bo? Where was that at?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I think it was Monticello. I drove all the way up there. Yeah, it had to be Monticello because there's more deer than people in Monticello. So it's for sure Monticello. I drive up there, and I talk to these people, and I'm like, "Listen, I can take this goat in like a year, but I can't take it now. I'll pay you for it, and I'll pay you to keep it here, to keep it fed and keep it alive. But I can't take this thing yet. I got to work out where we're going to put it." And so the whole plan was to bring it to Cambridge and put it on the roof. We were going to put sod on the roof, and that joke came from when we were going to build New Glarus. So we got pretty far down that rabbit hole of like, you never know. I mean, the engineering it takes to put sod on top of a roof, and like we have a this is all prefabbed metal for our building. You know what I'm saying? It's 2020. We're not building out of bricks. You know what I mean? So to get to support the weight of sod and goats up there, it was a lot more engineering than you'd think. And so they ended up talking to this one guy who had done it before for a restaurant in Wisconsin that everyone knows in Door County called Al Johnson.
In Door County.
Al Johnson's.
So Al Johnson's heard about what we were doing, and they sent us a literal flurry of cease and desist letters.
No
You
way.
would not one, like,
no way.
You would like filled the inbox, man. It was, and so you're never believe this. So Al Johnson's sues everybody in the country. Any business that thinks that says they want to put a goat on the roof, if you are a business in the United States, Al Johnson's will sue you, and they have a legal precedent of winning. And so it doesn't.
Whoa. What's the legal precedent? Like, we did this one thing. Like, can I copyright 4 walls in a roof?
That's
insane.
This is the craziest stretch. This is the craziest legal stretch. And my brother's like, people throw around this term a lot, but my brother is like a high-powered pharmaceutical patent litigation attorney. So we had serious attorneys look at this, not even like, but like serious people look at it, and it's bulletproof. This dude, he has sued over 15 businesses across the country. If you are a commercial business in the United States, you cannot put goats on your roof. You will not be able to do it. If anyone watching this in the whole wide internet world, if you're in the United States and you put goats on your roof for your business and you get away with it, I will give you a year's supply of limousine ride for free.
If you're going to put goats on your roof, just don't tell anybody.
If you're going to do it, don't tell anybody. Because 15 people have been sued. And so they didn't even sue us because they didn't have to. Because eventually we were like, yeah, we won't do it, dude. But they have it that it's absolutely essential. It's basically like a trade dress argument. It's absolutely essential for their business, and people identify their business as the restaurant in Wisconsin with the goats on the roof.
Oh.
The funny thing is their attorney was like, was like, a business would never be able to get away with this, but especially not in Wisconsin. And it's like, dude, this is the only place you can get away with having goats on.
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about? So that's
Maybe
where
when we build a building, we'll throw one up on our roof, and we're not retail or
you're not,
we don't
as long
necessarily
as
have
it's
a
not
product.
commercial.
We'll see what happens.
As long as it's not, and the other thing too is like there might be a thing where like if you don't actually market it with your company. So let's say like you guys own the building, but you owned it through like a third party or like an LLC, which is super common, and it had no connection to the business per se on paper. You can see I've thought of this a lot. You could probably get away with it, but we don't have that luxury because we own the LLC here. And it's clear. It's Cambridge Distilling Properties, and then it's the Dancing Goat Distillery. It's really clear who owns it. But if you did have separation,
I'm happy to be the shell company that allows you to have a goat on your roof. I'll do it. I'll take the bullet.
And the thing is too is like so Rumchata, like I said, was sick, and that was a couple years ago. Unfortunately, Rumchata has passed away, which does really suck because I really wanted. It was a Nigerian pygmy goat, so it was a tiny little one. I was really excited to have it here. But actually, it's really heartbreaking that my goat died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were then going to put the goats in a field at the end of the thing and just let people pet them. And we were going to feed them our distillery, our waste grain. So we wouldn't, because our big thing, one thing that we've done from the beginning here is we like to say we close loops. And so if we bring in an input like grain per se, we don't throw that out. We don't throw it down the drain. We find another home for it where and we try that with everything. We try to use as little single-use consumer packaging, plastic packaging as we can. We don't buy things that aren't recyclable. Our spent grains go back into food production. They go back into fertilizer production. Our spent botanicals from gin are used to make kombucha by Nasala Kombucha here in Madison. And if you're in the Madison area and you're making stuff, if there's anything we could do for you, we use gin botanicals, we use spent grain. If you're a farmer, contact us. We have so many sources of waste that we don't throw out. So that's just one really. But what I could have done is I was gonna feed all of my grain to them, my spent grain to them, and then use the fertilize and then use to fertilize the corn for our farmers, our rye farmers. However, in the city of Cambridge, and like the craziest thing in the world is like nobody pay. Like I'm definitely the biggest water bill in Cambridge by far, and I'm telling you metaphorically. Like they got a big water bill. Metaphorically, we pull a lot of water in town. But I'm talking literally. There's no one in town that pulls more water than us at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous that I can't get this done, but the city of Cambridge has a law that says that if there is a commercial enterprise that has animals, and they're zoned commercial, they're not zoned ag or special use, that makes those animals a petting zoo, which are banned. And no matter what,
in the city of Cambridge,
in the town of Cambridge, and I am in the town of Cambridge, like squarely in it, so I can't. There's nothing I can do. So what we did was we just bought 50 acres where we're putting rick houses up to hold all of our whiskey because we don't have space to hold everything. And so on that 50 acres, I'm also going to farm. We're going to farm our own grains. We're going to do our own maple syrup, and we're going to do honey for bees. We're going to do bees for honey. So on that land, we have, as a condition, we got it loaned in light industrial agricultural and mixed use so that we can keep livestock on it. So I'm getting goats. So long story short, I'm getting the
Nice.
Yeah, so it's separate. What is the turnaround time on like maple syrup? That seems like it'll take a little while.
Not soon. So we are a really large provider of barrel-aged maple syrup. I don't have any here. Dang it, I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. I'll go grab a bottle.
In the meantime, as our dancing goat friends have left the screen. Oh, Bo's back. There it is.
Back.
I was going to say, if anybody has questions, please do ask. We can get these guys on the hook.
Sorry, guys. So this is
no worries.
This is a bar bottle. So you'd never actually be able to buy this package. This is what we use behind the bar. But it's off my grand. So my granddaddy, my family's from Shawano, which is way up north. And if you're familiar with Shawano, the economics of it, hey, nice donut. The economics of Shawano are all agricultural. There's not much manufacturing up there. There's a big Indian reservation up there, Native American reservation up there. There's no Oneida res, and Menominee's up there as well, a little further north. But it's mostly ag up there. And so we sold my grandfather's land because we couldn't take care of it. And my family really believes in the power of land, and we should live off the land and that we should respect it. And so because we couldn't take care of it and because we couldn't hunt that land and we couldn't tap those trees, we decided that somebody else should. So we found some people who were interested in starting a bed and breakfast because the amount of land up there and the house that was built, it's just not affordable for, no one's going to go buy a multi-million-dollar estate in Shawano. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what my grandfather amassed over time. He built it all himself, but it's worth that much now, you know? And so we found somebody to lease to own it, and they're operating it as a bed and breakfast, and they hunt the land and they feed themselves off the land, which is what I wanted from it. I know my dad just wanted to get somebody to take care of it. I wanted somebody to be taken care of by the land. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's really what we wanted. And we found a great partner up there. And so it's a couple that she just finished a career in the military, and then her husband is just finishing his. And so they call it Valhalla, where warriors go to rest. It's Valhalla Farms and Valhalla Bed and Breakfast in Shawano. The deal that we made, though, is I have the rights to every dextrin that comes, and I use that language specifically. I have the rights to every dextrin that comes off that land. So anything that's sugar that comes off that land. So any trees that are tapped and any beehives that are kept. And so we buy all that they make at this little sugar shack up in Shawano. And then when we're doing our rye, there's certain barrels that when you dump them, there's just something about them that I can smell. And Chris, my master distiller, he can smell it too. So we're the two that really kind of dictate when this occurs. But when we're dumping barrels, we'll smell something, and neither he nor I can really explain it. But it's a perfect match. It's something that's meant to happen. And so we'll take that barrel once it's dumped and we'll quarantine it. We won't refill it and we won't sell it to someone else, and we won't turn it into a beautiful stave wall like that. But we'll send it up north, and we send it up north because it ages better up there. And they will take all the maple syrup they make for the year, they put into barrels for us, and they age. And we have to wax the complete exterior of the barrel in beeswax, because the whole thing I'm looking for, and I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of looks like crude oil, is we look for a 0.03% drop in hydration. That means that there's 0.03% less water. So if there's less, and maple syrup, I don't know if you guys know how to make it, but it's mostly water. Sap is mostly water, and you cook, it takes gallons and gallons and gallons, dozens of gallons to make a half a gallon of syrup, especially one this sweet. It's really cooked now. And so what we do is, instead of cooking it more, we put it in these barrels that are waxed except for the top, and it's hygroscopic, and so it wants to absorb water, and it's going to. So the first thing it does is it absorbs water from the barrels, and it dries out the barrels completely. What's up, Dusty? And then what happens is the barrels will start to dry out and they'll start to crack. And once that happens, it'll actually start to lose moisture out the top, but the barrels have to start cracking first because there can't be any moisture there. We keep desiccants. Desiccants are those, like a silica gel packet you find in like a thing of like protein powder. The room is full of desiccants. So those desiccants will absorb the moisture out of the air, which means that this will lose moisture to the air. So you might say 0.03%, what's the big deal? There's a concentration of flavonoids in here, so it's more intense, but also because there's less water, it's kind of like, you can kind of see it's almost like gelatin, like jelly. It literally, when you use honey and maple syrup in drinks, it seizes. So what happens is you put it in and it clumps up. It doesn't want to mix in, especially with ice in there. And so this is actually designed to cocktail with. It'll never seize up on you. Same with our honey. Actually, the honey will seize up on you, and so we make a syrup out of the honey. But it ends up being barrel aged for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, that maple syrup is a premium substitute to your normal like simple syrup that you would buy off the shelf at a retailer or make at home.
It's very specific too. There's some things that just won't work with it. And that's like a tequila sunrise. You know what I'm saying? But if you're just doing a straight replacement for simple syrup, this is it.
You said you can't, like that bar bottle you wouldn't be able to find. Do you sell them there, or do you have a different?
Now that he's back, I'll go dig up a bottle that we do sell so that people can see it. We just sell a smaller format. Yeah. We use this for the bar because it's less packaging. It's, like I said, we're really conscious on waste. And I mean, luckily this is all glass and wood. And so I'm fine with it, but it really hurts me to waste a plastic cap. It hurts my body. It hurts my soul, because when these packages leave here, I don't control where this goes. And that's the big thing that, like, it sounds stupid, it sounds dumb, but it's important to us here, is where our waste goes and ends up. And is it sustainable? Is it reusable? You know what I mean? And so we don't sell these because this cap isn't recyclable. And so I reuse it for certain things, but I will go show you my package that is.
Yeah. But yeah, to kind of get to your question, John, Nick's grabbing the 12-ounce format. You can find it at retail if you're in the Madison area. I know Hy-Vee on East Washington, they had some inventory, at least, a couple of weeks ago. We had given them a call, and I know they had some inventory. I'd always recommend just calling the retailer. But yeah, if you have any interest, I mean, I would say we have the best barrel-aged maple syrup. I mean, once Nick started making barrel-aged maple syrup and our distributors were taking it on, there are actually a lot of restaurants and bars around the country that they would bring in the maple syrup to build a cocktail and use it as a substitute sweetener, like I was saying before. Yeah, the Hy-Vee on East Wash.
What's it called? Is it Dancing Goat brand, or does it have, because like you have the other two names, like Limousine Rye and Death's Door, but
yeah, the maple syrup. Before I joined, there were labels made. It's just Dancing Goat Distillery barrel aged maple syrup.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And there was, I think, like the Piggly Wiggly and Cottage Grove may have had some inventory, but otherwise we just say, in a normal world, a couple months ago, we would have just said, come to the distillery and pick up a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we're not selling it right now. We may look into putting up an online retail store for non-alcoholic items that we would sell, like the maple syrup. There's been a lot of deregulation in our industry. We're still, something could happen where, there are certain states like Virginia and Kentucky, their craft distilleries and breweries and wineries are going to be able to sell direct to consumer, where normally the 3-tiered system, you got to sell to a wholesaler or distributor. It's got to go through your distributor that you're partnered with, or distributors. But I know at least a few states starting July 1, they'll be able to sell and ship direct to consumer alcoholic beverages, which is unheard of. Now, who knows if other open states across the country are going to deregulate and allow that as well. That'd be great if we could open up an online store and be able to sell Limousine Rye, have our own e-commerce website, sell cocktail kits. But for right now, we really, if we get any inquiries, which we do get a lot, either Facebook, email, if someone's asking, how can we support you? Where can we find Limousine Rye? We always push them off to our retail partners. Go to Piggly Wiggly, go to Festival Foods, go to, Steve's Liquor, support your independent liquor stores, your independent retailers if you can. Because you can pretty much find Limousine Rye and Death's Door Gin at most retailers, especially in Wisconsin.
So I got these here for you guys. This is what we're selling right now. So this is our regular maple syrup. So this is what we do have available for consumers. This is our old original label. And Bo's done a little bit of work on this label. And so we're trying to phase this one out. but the juice is still really good. This is our new label. And then also this is our syrup. This is a different syrup inside of it. So this is what we call barrel number 5. So this is the syrup that we pulled for competitions for this year. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'll be entering this in a lot of competitions that are all getting canceled. So if you guys want to buy some barrel number 5s, I'm willing to sell them this summer. But I got to tell you guys, I have to go because I'm on shift change. I got to go change a fermenter. But you guys still got Bo. I love you both, and I got to get out of here. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time. I know we are running long, but I appreciate hanging out again. It's been a little bit of little time, and hopefully we can hang out in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see you guys. As always, you guys are always welcome here with the mask on, as you know. And then, we'll definitely have more video work to do soon. So for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Cool. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for having me.
Ryan,
yeah, later.
hanging out with you. This was fun.
All right. So that's a good natural way to wind down here. In the stream, we'll just have Nick, because it like freeze frames on the Skype video. Just got a cool Nick, like kind of like a 90s boy band. It's pretty awesome. So we are wrapping up here. I want you to plug everything. I was able to find these at Hy-Vee. You mentioned local liquor stores as well. Support your local families and things like that. What else do you want to plug that we can share and help you guys out in any way?
Is he there? I don't know if he's there.
Oh no! Did he leave? Bo.
Yeah.
We should have talked about this beforehand.
He
also is off of Skype.
Yeah.
You should text him. Yeah, I mean, I can plug them too real quick while you try to get Bo back on.
Do I have his number? Let's see here.
You could hit him up on Skype too. Just be like, get back on. This is the best part about live production. You should check them out online, Dancing Goat. Let's see, dancinggoatdistillery.com. You can Google search, you'll find it. Yeah, there's this Death's Door gin, which is awesome. It's, if you're not into gin because of the pininess of it, this is a really good one. It's got, more subtle flavors. I love it. My wife loves it. She's kind of the gin drinker in the house, but I really enjoy this one as well. It's super subtle. So we'll just provide a commercial here while we try to get Bo back on.
I'm looking.
And then Limousine Rye. I'll make you vamp, and then I can text him. This is great. I don't drink a ton of rye whiskeys. I drink more scotches, and I guess not other, maybe Irish whiskeys. But this, the first time I had this, I just loved it and was very impressed. It's subtle. It's got different flavors. I can't really describe it well. Maybe let me read this best of in the world top 100. This rye whiskey is finished in limousine oak casks, typically used to age French brandy and not often seen in American whiskey. Yeah, they've got a whole cool, I think they call it the Solaris system, of these barrels that all interconnect and they age it in there. The end result is a honey hue with vanilla bean and orange peel scents. The distinctly sweet vanilla forward palate includes an intriguing dark fruit note that suggests juicy blackberry and plum, one or the other. Then exits with allspice, clove, and black pepper. It's really good. I've been drinking it by itself. I know Nick's talked about making it so that it can be a mixer, so it mixes really well, and that's part of the intention. So don't feel bad about that. I also love the branding of it. We've never talked about that type of thing before, but it's got a nice feel to it. It's like classic, kind of a classic design. And then it's got the batch number and, handwritten alcohol volume over here, which is kind of cool.
I'm back.
We got him.
Dude,
That's cool.
That was some great advertising right there that Ryan just pulled out.
Ryan,
gosh,
we
I
need
was
to hire
pushing
you as
so
an
hard.
ambassador.
You have, I mean.
True. Yeah. There you go. Well,
Yeah, no,
we'll give you. We'll continue to do business with you and partner with you on the videos for sure. Yeah. What I missed. Sorry about that.
We were just vamping a
just
little
be
bit.
plugging.
Yeah, I wanted to hear,
Just plugging the product. Talking a little bit about each of these, with the Death's Door being one of my wife's favorites. One that we've had before. If you don't like gin because of the pininess of it, this is really great because it's kind of got like a mix of flavors, super subtle. This is one of the gins that kind of got me liking gins.
Yeah, Death's Door, very viable brand. You guys may know this. Our company the Death's Door Spirits went into bankruptcy in the winter of 2018, and our company actually had the winning bid, and we were really happy to be able to acquire a very viable brand that actually pioneered the craft spirit boom. And so we've done our best to keep that brand very vibrant, and we're now producing it here at the Dancing Goat. And so you can find it any major retailers. We're I wasn't a gin drinker, and Nick actually introduced me to the brand before the Dancing Goat owned the brand, and it's great. The perfect serve, I would say, is like Death's Door, a couple ounces of Death's Door, and then fill your glass up with like a Fever Tree or another premium tonic of your choice. And then
we maybe don't have Bo's audio, according to Luke. That'd be a perfect ending right there.
No audio?
No, I'm pretty sure we're hearing Bo.
Oh, there we go. Luke said he lost him and then he got him back. So
it must have been a glitch. Fever Tree tonic. That's one of my wife's favorites. We got that right. Oh, I'm not showing anything. Hang on. We got that right here. They come in little bottles.
Yeah. So in our tasting room, we're closed indefinitely. So again, if you'd like to support us, the best way is to, like I said before, go out to your independent retailers and look for Death's Door and Limousine Rye. And Limousine Rye is Nick's first release spirit. He really designed that with fresh lemon juice and 1 part the Dancing Goat barrel aged maple syrup. And so, but yeah, support our brand, support local, and that's what I'll sign off with. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Nice.
What do you guys have planned for the week? The rest of the week and the weekend? Anything?
It's my anniversary.
Give me real quick.
Saturday.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Hang on. I think when I switch to you, Bo, because you jumped out and jumped back in, we lose audio. So I won't switch away from you. Give me let's see. Oh, I see. When we switch to me, I lose you. Hang on. Give me a second. You got to pitch the gin and the whiskey again, because people just saw me like caressing the bottle, but they couldn't hear you.
They couldn't hear
which
me.
Is super awkward. Yeah, but I love it.
Great.
I love it for so many reasons. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Sorry. Give me one more second. We're doing this live, folks. That's how you know it's legit. Here we go. Okay, almost there. Good. Okay, so let's go back to Death's Door. Give me that again.
Yeah, so I would say Death's Door gin, very approachable gin. You're going to get more of the juniper as an aromatic, as opposed to that very pine tree powerful flavor that may not be as approachable to cocktail drinkers. The perfect serve, in my opinion, we always recommend Death Store, a couple ounces of Death Store gin, and then fill up the rest of your glass with a premium tonic water such as Fever Tree. But yeah, so support your local retailers. If you'd like to support us, go visit your retailer, be safe, pick up a bottle of Death Store gin off the shelf. And then Ryan's holding up a bottle of our first release whiskey, Limousine Rye. I believe that vintage is aged probably 3 years, 8 months. It's a spirit that was designed specifically for cocktails. The best way, I'd say the perfect serve for Limousine Rye is in a maple smash cocktail. It's going to be 2 ounces Limousine Rye, an ounce of fresh lemon juice, and an ounce of barrel-aged maple syrup. Dancing Goat barrel-aged maple syrup if you can find it. But yeah, you can find both those brands at any major retailer in Madison and in all the surrounding cities, as well as across the state. So
Great.
Yeah, appreciate your support. And thank you guys for having me on today. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you guys.
Yeah, you too as well. And I would love to have a package of everything. I will buy this with the maple, with you sell me fruit, whatever it is. Just
you know what?
Awesome.
There's a restaurant downtown that's doing a Limousine Rye cocktail kit. They did their own iteration of a maple smash, actually. Gray's, right on the Capitol Square. If you've ever heard of them, they're
yes.
on carry out Limousine Rye cocktail kits to go. So support Gray's if you're in the Madison area.
Yes, and now that you've mentioned that, I have heard of that, the cocktail kit from Gray's. I guess I didn't read it close enough, or maybe my wife told me about it. But maple smash, that'd be great. That's what I was trying to create here. But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, dang it, I can't find Nick's video. I don't want to do it wrong, so I didn't make one. But I'm excited
I was going to try and
get the kit.
My original plan was to pick up a cocktail kit and drop it off to you guys. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're probably not at Backflip offices. And then we were originally supposed to do this tomorrow, and we had to move it up because Nick somehow forgot what his schedule was. He's packing tomorrow and moving into a new home. I don't know how that's his mind, but it did. He's literally moving all of his belongings, and I'll be helping him out. So
no, that's all right. We'll have the cocktail kits for the next time.
For sure. Go to Gray's. They're awesome. And there's a lot of great restaurants that you can, carry out from Gray's, Heritage Tavern, all those guys. So
awesome. John, any other questions or anything else before we sail off into the sunset here?
I don't think so. Just looking forward to getting back over there, getting back to real life.
Yeah.
Seeing people again. That'd be great. Awesome. Thanks so
All
much,
right, guys.
Bo.
Be safe.
Nick, who's not here. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. Be safe, and we'll talk again soon and do this again, hopefully.
All right. Yeah, we will. Let's do it. We'll get it on the schedule.
Awesome. Cool. I'm going to switch us over to the thank you, and we'll be all out. So thanks for tuning in. Let us know in the comments what you liked. We're going to be talking next week, actually, with Charlie Warner from Madison Gas and Electric, who is like my spirit animal. We've been working on great projects for many, many years, and we've done this short series of films for Madison Gas and Electric that have been just like balm to my soul, balm to our soul. They've been so great. They've been so unique. So we'll send those materials out soon. That'll be next week, Friday at noon. Check in. We'll do another one of these happy hours. Please come and bring your drink. Hopefully maybe some Death's Door or Limousine Rye. And we will see you then.
I'll tune in.
Y'all.
Thank you.
See you then. All right. Bye.